Hi, Shui. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Feynman.
Hi, Sajay. Good morning.
Hello. Hey, Shui, I thought you're off today, or no?
Yes, I'm off today, but I will try to attend some meetings.
Okay, all right.
Let's wait for another maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I pinned Pritesh and Vani on the Slack before this meeting. Hi, Toddy. How are you doing?
Hey, Feynman, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing well. Hey, Patrick. Hey, Pritesh.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
You will be joining us maybe half an hour late, so I will be as the moderator for today's meeting. Hey, Pritesh, do you know whether Vani will be able to join us?
Actually, I don't know. Let me ping her.
Yeah, I also pinged Vani and shared the agenda topics with her before the meeting. But I know it's quite late in her time zone. I just enabled the live streaming. Oh, I saw Vani joined. Hey, Vani.
Hey, Feynman. Hi.
Thanks for joining us out of your working hours, Vani.
Yeah, thank you. No problem.
Okay. So welcome everybody to join us. I'm today's moderator. I'm going to share my screen and go through today's agenda. We have collected 4 topics from the community. And let me share the link and also share my screen to go through today's agenda topics. Just send the link in our chat. Let me know if you can see my screen. I'm currently sharing today's agenda. Okay, I see thumbs up from Toddy. So I assume everybody can see my screen. So basically, there are 3 major topics that we collected from the community. The first one is actually the security audit. We have a solid update from OSTIF, the Security Audit Institute, today, and they told us that the draft report is available. They shared the links in our private Slack channel. And next, we're gonna quickly check the readiness of KubeCon North America 2024, and also we can discuss some potential proposal for the upcoming KubeCon Europe, because the deadline is also quite close to. And last, we're gonna trash some issues marked with the discuss milestones. Before we kick off today's meeting and discuss these topics, we can also take a look at the notes that we have been discussed from our last meeting. So if you remember, we invited the SCARF team, the telemetry, and the telemetry tool team behind the SCARF, and they shared how other CNCF projects use SCARF to collect the user-based metrics while their download workflow. And I assume that you remember how we can use SCAF to collect the user base and metrics to build a dashboard for Notary project download metrics. So my question is that what's our next step, and what's your opinion on enabling SCAF in Notary project download process? I heard an opinion from Shui that he's suggesting we enable the SCAF tool after Notary project support block signing, because we can add signature to the download process. This is actually one of the actions that we had from our last meeting. So I want to seeking advice from all of our maintainers and see our next step for using SCAF tool to collect usage metrics for notation CLI release. Ronnie and Pritesh, do you have any concerns or thoughts on the SCAF tool?
Nope, I don't have any concern. I have one question. Since our signatures are detached signatures, will user download them as SCAF, or will they download via GitHub repository? Because they are all detached signatures.
Can you rephrase your question? I want to double confirm your point.
So since our signatures are detached signatures, they have to be downloaded using out-of-band mechanism apart from the artifact, right? Will signature be behind that proxy URL which SCAF provides, or it will be directly a GitHub URL?
I think we have to provide the detached signature along with the release access on GitHub. The download source is still from GitHub, but users will need to download via the SCAF gateway. They collect the usage metrics from the SCAF gateway,
But
but the original source is still from GitHub.
But if signatures are behind the SCAF gateway, can they change the signature also? Even same as like whatever root certificate you are trusting there. Because you have to download something without going through SCAF proxy, right? Either your trusted root certificate, you have to download it without the proxy. That at minimum we need to do that, right? And the question would be, how do you verify a signature without downloading notation which is generated using notation?
That's a good question. I think this is still not supported. Users have to verify the signature using notation after they download the notation.
How do I trust that it's doing the right thing then? Because I can release a binary saying it's notation. If you find the signature with this, always pass it.
So one of the solution is that for the first download of the notation, you can download from the GitHub. For the future updates, you can download from SCAF.
I mean, that's like a silent pitfall. Like that will be a pitfall for the customers because usually they wouldn't follow this, right? The users. That's good idea, but when it comes to execution, it will probably fail. That asking users to download first time from this and second time from this, like why? I will just hard code the URL and use the first URL every time.
Hey, Sajay, I saw your comment in our chat.
Yeah. What's our validation mechanism today? Like when somebody gets notation, how do they know that they're getting the right bits? I mean, you're trusting GitHub is what you're saying, which is another a different set of attack vectors, right?
I think today we didn't introduce any signature validation. When users download notation CLI from GitHub, we only have the checksum text-based validation only, right? And in the next release, with the block signing and verification introduced, we can validate notation itself with notation.
So basically, it depends. It depends on the distribution method. So if the people download from the GitHub, then they are trusting GitHub. If they're downloading from the package manager, like Winget or Homebrew, they trust the package manager. So the signature is to provide a way to verify the binaries if it's not distributed in any way. For example, you just download the binaries from some unknown or not well known website, then you can just verify the signature to ensure the authenticity.
Is the release access verifiable from package managers like Winget and Homebrew? If we have block signing available in our next release. Yeah, Pritesh, I think that's the way that we're gonna follow if we enable scarf in the download process.
Yes, but same as Shiva called out, there is still a nuance there. Also, I'm not sure whether how customers are going to verify signatures generated using notation if they're using notation for first time. It's like basically a tofu model, which somehow doesn't looks right to me.
Sajay, would you want to elaborate on your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, this is just thinking through. Some might be wrong, but what I do want to emphasize is we first define on what the validation mechanism is. Like, look at other products, like how does somebody get the cosine binary from any package manager and validate it, or any of these binary solutions that we do validate, and then we can define. Then it really doesn't matter where it's distributed from, and Scarf is just another way to acquire, and maybe we can trust it. But the moment you get it, we should be able to use OS-based tooling or signatures that are maybe hosted on some well-known place for us to out-of-band validate it. We need to agree on that first before we can have more distribution channels, is what I think. For right now, we can know what they're like. An established distribution or a package manager is something different because it's prevalent and the surface area is already pretty well trusted. But a new distribution channel is something that causes a little bit of a confusion in the ecosystem. So just kind of taking it in a step-by-step process, that before we onboard to something like Scarf, we identify, okay, it doesn't matter where you got the binary from. This is how you can validate it. That's a valid notation binary. And then we can, and there are standard platform OS tools that you can use, right? Like you can do SHA-256 signatures or something like that, that you don't need a very complicated tooling to validate, or you can have platform tooling that helps you validate.
So your suggestion is that we need to figure out how to validate the notation binaries and other distribution channels to make sure the download content is trusted. Then we can, and at the moment we can hold on to introduce a new distribution channel like Scarf until we figure.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying block on the Scarf thing, but I would say that make that as a dependency or a requirement that we figure out how we can validate the binaries, because irrespective of Scarf, you should have the answer for this one. So it would be good to say that, hey, for making that happen, we are going to do this, rather than saying we're going to block one thing. As long as the path is clear, we do want to get the data as to who's using it.
Yeah.
But we cannot hand over the trust model to Scarf and say, oh, as long as you're downloading from Scarf, we trust it. The customer should feel good, like, yeah, you got a binary from from place X, and then you should be able to validate it, because we can use some standard mechanisms to distribute the checksum or the CRL or whatever is necessary.
Okay, so we need to clarify the dependencies before we enable a new tool like Scarf, and make sure every notation CLI binaries on different channels are verifiable. Pritesh and Vani, any thoughts?
No, I agree with Sajay. It's like we need a mechanism to verify a signature, or like whether the binary is authentic binary or not, because we essentially introduced man in the middle attack for us.
And another dependency on notation itself is related to the blob signing. Without this, we cannot sign the binary, the arbitrary files.
I'd be careful of not introducing a circular dependency, because then it'll be like you have to have notation to validate notation. This is a toughie.
I mean, it's good for upgrading notation. Yeah, in that
Yeah.
scenario, probably you can do it, but it becomes basically trust on first use model, which is usually frowned upon.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And we have been trying to avoid tofu in notation and notary period overall.
Hey, Shui, so your hands up.
So the only way to eliminate the circular dependency is to build in notation into the system, the OS, like the Linux or Windows. That's the only way, I think so. So that's a shift notation along with the Linux or Windows.
You mean with the...
So eventually we will rely on the package managers.
So there are a couple of other ways to do it. One is like use GPG as a mechanism for all the OS, or you rely on OS level signature verifications for it. Like Windows has its own, Mac has its own, Linux uses GPG and things like that. So we don't really need to bake notation into the operating systems. They can still be downloaded and verified. Again, the simplest being is like use GPG for everything, for all the binaries. Or use the short of 26 hash v. Like, yeah, like simplest is like GPG one.
Actually, GPG has the same question, same problem. So how do you trust GPG initially? Because it's building into the system, right? So if we build the notation into the system, then we don't need to trust anything else.
That's a problem. Yes. So that's where your hash calculation comes in, or that's how you derive it, right? Because you're downloading from the authentic source you trust, then you validate the hash of it. Different enterprises, different methods to trust the open source softwares. But yes, I would better trust it if it comes from the website which says it's, for example, I don't know, linux.com or linux.org. I don't even know the website name. If it's coming from there, I will trust it better than coming from a random proxy, right? Like basically what you are describing is whole supply chain security problem. How do you trust an open source software coming into your system?
So I just want to double confirm.
Yeah.
Your idea is to make notation as a part of the default tools in the system level, like Linux
Yeah, that's right.
and Windows, not through the package manager to install notation.
it's okay to through the packet manager if the packet is well secured. Yeah, because usually packet manager has its own security mechanism, right? It can be GPG. If you use the APT stuff, then you are using GPG actually. Or for example, you have other mechanism on.
Okay, I think there should be some details that we need to figure out, whatever for downloading from GitHub or from other package manager platforms. But I think the conclusion here is that we have to figure out the dependencies to make the notation binaries verifiable for users before we introducing another tool like Scarf. I think we can create an issue to track how to make the distribution channels verifiable to users and let the Scarf team know that we need to handle some dependencies before we enable their tool. Yeah, so one is comments. Does this need to be spec or something that we need to outline? I think we need to.
Somewhere, right? Because we are discussing about multiple types, file types, and also the trust entities and the path it's going to take, right? So I think, yes, we have to discuss this, but also I think we need to outline it in a doc or somewhere so that we can reference back, right? Yeah, how do you trust browsers?
I think it was revisiting the current release download process. I remember there's only checksum text-based verification in the download process. And we can create a track issue to figure out what should we do to make these distribution channels verifiable. Okay, I think we got the conclusion here. I will create an issue and let the Scarf team know our next step. If no more concerns, we're gonna continue and discuss the topics that we collected today. We just finished the first topic that we left from our last discussion. So let's continue. In terms of the security audit, I assume most of you should see the updates from OSTIF team. They shared the draft report in our private channel. So project maintainers, please kindly review the report this week. And the action here is that we need to find a schedule with the OSTIF team for the restitution meeting next week. They are asking the schedule. So I'm not sure whether next Wednesday morning Pacific time is a good candidate for us. We usually meet in the morning Pacific time, especially in maybe 8 a.m. It will, because their team is based in Europe time zone, and we are based in at least 3 different time zones. Maybe next Wednesday morning Pacific time, 8 a.m. might be a good time slot.
It's only, I think,
maybe Wednesday or Thursday are also good alternatives. If we cannot determine a time slot in the meeting, I can also create a poll to let every maintainers to vote on their preferred schedule. Okay, I saw comments from Vani and Pritesh. Next Wednesday morning works for you both. Toddy, would you want to join that meeting? The security audit final meeting with us to walk through the security audit report.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, Phil.
Please send it to everybody. So, folks.
Okay. I will let the OSTF folks know our preference, and they will send a schedule for us to book the meeting for our next Wednesday morning Pacific time. Okay, let's review the draft report offline. I think the result is as our expectation. There's only one low severity issues detected by their team, and we had a pull request to fix that issue. Others are only informative level issues reported by them. We can review the report for details. And I noticed that there's a middle severity issue detected by them in the report, but I'm not sure whether we already covered that in our recent release or fix. It's an issue related to the time-stepping verification. We can dig into the details from the report since that's a private discussion.
Yes, see, when I looked at it offline, I thought it is fixed, but I can look into the issue to see
Okay.
this fix. I thought it was fixed, so I had marked it fixed. So, okay, sure.
Okay, let's reserve some time for maintainers to review the report offline. Then we can draw the conclusion and the next step to fill those gaps. We will fill all of those issues, including the low, median, and informative issues before they publish the report. Okay, let's continue. Next topic, we're gonna discuss the readiness of KubeCon North America, which will be hosted in the middle of November. I think, Toddy, you will be hosting a notary project maintenance track with the engineer from Mercedes-Benz. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, that's still the plan. What we would like to show there is how Mercedes is using the notary project binaries and tools to actually implement signatures and verification on their side. So they will talk about their environment, why they chose notary project, and so on.
Okay. If you need any assistance with the slide deck or any community updates, we can provide to you and Jark.
Yeah, the only thing that maybe I need from the community is what are the things that we want to highlight, because I'll have a couple of slides at the end, which will be, those are the things that are available right now in the tooling and what is our plan going forward. So anything in that space that community members think that we should highlight, just let me know.
Okay. Did the Mercedes-Benz team report any feedback or issues to notary project?
Not so
if
far.
their POC is smooth and exceeds their expectation?
They are still working through it, so they have not completed all their work on that, but they are kind of they'll present what are the challenges that they faced. They also will present, like as I said, like why they chose Notary Project and how they deal with those challenges.
Okay. I will stay tuned for the updates, and also we will provide the community updates, especially for our next milestone, to you by end of this week. Meanwhile, I guess you may notice that the KubeCon Europe 2025 is also quite close to us. And the deadline of the CFP is November 24 this year. So I'm opening the discussion and seeking your advice for KubeCon KubeCon EU. I know some of the existing customers and community users based in Europe are gonna seeking their interests in collaborating with us to submit a joint proposal to KubeCon EU. So Pritesh and Vani, if you know any customers or users, partners located in Europe, please let us know. And also, if you want to present anything and collaborate with us for the proposal at KubeCon EU, feel free to reach out to us. We're gonna at least submit 2 topics for the KubeCon EU. The one is, as usual, the Notary Project maintenance track. Another one should be a general presentation, a general proposal for security track, for native security track. This event will be hosted in London in April 2025. Just let you know the CFP deadline and the date of this event. And I still remember the KubeCon EU 2024 was a big success because we had the chance to meet a lot of customers and potential users in the conference in person. So this year, we will also catch the opportunity to submit something to KubeCon EU. We have around 3 weeks left for preparing any proposals for KubeCon EU. So if you have any ideas, any customer information in Europe, feel free to let us know and connect us with the partners and any customers. And by the way, Vani and Pritesh, do you know anyone from your team will be traveling to Salt Lake City and attend the KubeCon North America next month?
Well, I don't think anyone from our team would be traveling.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I can find out.
Okay, because there will be a Notary Project booth
Yeah.
in the conference. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure from our team anyone is traveling, but I can check from Jesse if anyone is traveling from other teams. Yeah.
Okay. At least from our side, from Microsoft team, I think Toddy will be there. And at that time, I should just relocate to Seattle, and I will not be able to join the KubeCon North America. Toddy, I think we will rely on you to connect with the potential partners and users at KubeCon North America. So Vani and Pritesh, if you know anybody from your team, from AWS, gonna be there, feel free to share it with Toddy.
Yes, sure. Yeah. Toddy is always there. I know.
Toddy is always in every KubeCon.
He's representing the community. Thank you, Toddy, for doing that.
Great.
You're welcome.
So I think the next step here is I will create a Google Doc to collect some potential proposals for KubeCon EU. So always opening for Vanya and Pritesh. If you have any ideas, we can collaborate and write something on the Google Doc.
Sure, Femi. Yeah.
Okay, we have only one topic left, is the trash issues marked with discuss milestones. Before we discuss the issues, I want to double confirm, is there any pull request that we require other maintainers to review this week? Pritesh, Junjie, and Patrick? If not, we're gonna track these issues marked with discuss milestone and see whether we should bring these issues into maybe V2 or V2.1. Okay, if not any certain pull request that needs additional attention, we will skip the pull request discussion and jump to the issue triage. This issue improved output for notation plugin. Let me check the history context. I see. I think the potential problem here is that the capabilities just displays some raw data generated from the API. So the idea is to make it much readable to users. I think as this is a UX related issue, we may need a simple specification to determine the output of notation plugin. At least for now, do you have any thoughts for this issue? It's a small improvement of notation plugin output. If no more concerns, I think we're gonna continue for this issue. I think it doesn't block any users to use the notation plugin. It's only the impact of the output of notation plugin. We're gonna create a small spec to update the capabilities in the notation plugin list and see whether these updates are acceptable to our maintainers. Hey, Shui.
Yeah, just let you know that British is there. He is BRB and he just joined. So do you want to repeat your reshoots?
You mean that I noticed that Pritesh will be back and he joined us.
Yeah. So I would like to get some input from British and you for this one.
Oh, you mean the notation plugin list?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I will still give you a little time for people to review this issue and maybe have a short brainstorming on the potential improvements.
Hi, Feynman. I think we are not triaging issues, right? So I think if this issue is, is meaningful for notary project, I don't think we have to spend time to brainstorming how to do it. We can just charge it and add it to, for example, if we are not going to implement it for the upcoming milestones, we can put it into the future milestone as a backlog. And when later on we decided that this issue should be prioritized, then we can discuss how we can implement.
Yeah, that's the Zao. So currently, we want to figure out what's the priority of this issue. Does it impact any users? Then we can move forward with updating the milestone.
Yeah, from my side,
Yeah.
I don't think it will impact any users. So I would suggest that we can put it in the future milestone.
The problem for me is that do we really need to do that? I mean, do we really need to translate the technical terms like the signature generated raw to from human readable terms like signature generation? Is that a must, or should we do that? I'm actually confused and concerned because for the text description, for example, signature generation, it does not appear in any specifications. But if you see signature generated dot raw, then you probably know it's a tag term, and you will search that in the specs, and you know the answer.
Yeah, I got your point. You mean the capabilities listed here are actually coming from a spec. So so maybe we can also in the output we can put a link so that user will know where they can find this definition for the capability. So currently it's just the capability list here and sounds like a pattern, but for users that not familiar with this term or definition, they
Yeah,
may
another thing is
not know.
that
Yeah.
as you can see, another thing is, as you can see, that this is a table, and the table has a very large grids, and usually people want to install a lot of plugins. So are we considering redesign the view of this notation plugin list?
There's another perspective. I think it's about the overall experience of notation plugin, and especially the view of notation plugin list.
Yeah, I just redesign the view of the notation plugin list instead of just enhancing that. Instead of the minor enhancement like replacing the tag term into some human readable descriptions.
Back to your first question, my thinking is that as the output is available to human, and this should be human readable information, I think ideally this should be friendly to human instead of to machines, because the technical terms like signature generator.raw this should be machine readable terms, or at least this should not be very technical.
So, can you just give out the expected output when there's a plugin has all those 4 capabilities? Can you comment that in this issue?
Okay, you want an overall design on the notation plugin list?
Yeah, because I think even if you turn technical term into some human readable descriptions, the line is still so long, and after a word wrapping, it's hard to read.
Maybe we can introduce a table view for this long information and see whether any redundant columns in the current plugin list. But we can revisit the overview design of plugin list and see
Yeah.
how we can improve it, not only for the capabilities column.
Yes, that's right. And also I'm thinking that we can have a table per plugin. I think that might be better.
Yeah, I think yeah, Shiwei, your comment is valid. So maybe we can, for this issue, we can comment that we need to also consider in the table view to avoid it is too long. Maybe Femi, you can help to comment later, and we can discuss this issue when we prioritize it. Yeah, for now, I think we don't need to spend more time on this design. We just comment what needed to be consideration for this issue. For example, the table design to avoid it too long, and also we can put it in the future milestone. That's my suggestion.
Sounds reasonable. So I'm gonna update the milestone first to future. And we will need redesign the notation plugin list into a table view and provide a spec, a simple spec for the desired output.
Yes.
Okay, we finished this issue. Let's continue. We have 12 minutes left. We should be quick. Signing with local private keys. This issue was opened by Zwen from AWS.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
this-
this, yeah.
Please,
You
please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, from my side, I think this is a valid ask. It is just that we didn't prioritize this issue yet. And this also requires some specification work, and also we needed to properly deal with the security concern with these private keys, the local private keys.
I second that. I mean, this is a valid ask. We haven't just prioritized the solution.
And I remember this issue has been asked by several community users in the Slack channel and also in GitHub issues several times. we provided workarounds to the issues to let them manually update the signing keys JSON and also update the directory structure.
I thought we
Because
had discussed this and we had updated the spec, isn't it, E, for the local private key signing? We had updated the spec, right?
No,
No.
no, we don't support this as of now.
we only
think we
have
did not. Pritesh, I think we did not implement, but we discussed about this like in multiple meetings about the local signing.
We did discuss it, but the decision didn't lead to anywhere. Like we don't have a solution.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Because the encryption format which we were encryption scheme which we were planning to use was deprecated, so we didn't had any good solution there. That was the last thing. I think Shiva can correct me there because Shiva did most of the investigation about that encryption scheme.
I think maybe we can also define a whole story, a complete story of the local signing, not only for the local private keys. With the blob signing introduced, we can have a complete functionalities for and discussion for the local signing scenario.
No, Shive had muted. Shive, did you have anything to say?
Yes, I think it's a valid scenario. It's just how we support it. The reason we don't support it is because the crypto functions related to the PM encryption is deprecated in the Golang library. I think that's the major issue. I'm not sure if Pradesh can report that.
Yeah, but I think it was mostly related to generating keys from passcode, or there was some issue with the algorithm, and that's the reason it was deprecated.
Yeah, so I suggest for this issue, we put it into future milestone. And when we would like to prioritize this issue, we need to have a spec to describe the scenario problem we want to solve and also the security concern as Shiwei Pritesh we discussed previously. But for now, it is not prioritized for the upcoming milestones. That's my suggestion.
Yeah. If we do have a lot of customers asking for that, we can support it with a security warning saying that it's not the best practice and it probably have some security issues. But they can do, right? Just like they do load local private keys for Nginx and other tools.
I remember there's a related updates early this year, and we planned to add this workaround to the Notary project website as a temporary solution for users who want to add their local key to notation environment. But this issue has been closed by the bot.
Probably we can reopen it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I think the documentation is better than the binary implementation because we are not encouraged this way, and this definitely have some security vulnerabilities. So when you write the documentation, you need to mention that it's not secure, and you are not encouraged to that in the production.
Yeah, we can reopen this issue and remove the stale labels. Then for the original issue, we put it into the future milestone, and we will provide a document for user as a workaround, and also as Sri mentioned, we will give a warning for the user. It is not a secure way with these workarounds.
So based on our conclusion, based on our discussion, I will comment here and reopen this issue. We will add the workaround back to the Notary project website and mark it as testing purpose only.
Can you remove the stale labels on the right side?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, so for this issue, as we don't have enough resources to work on it in our next two milestone, notation V2 and V2.1, we will continue to mark it as future. Any
Yes.
concerns?
No.
But if any users come in and say their attention or dependencies on this issue, we can discuss it. And also, if there are any contributors from the community who want to pick it up, we can also prioritize it back.
Wait a second. I don't think we are going to implement it, right?
Shui, could you rephrase?
So I don't think we are going to implement it, even in the future.
Because of the security concerns that you
Yes,
just
that's right.
mentioned, the
Yeah.
PM.
Not just only the PM, but also in the general security. Yeah, because you should not use I mean, in the future, you should not use any local private keys.
Has this been articulated in our security model? I mean, the threat model, that local private keys are not suggested.
I think so. British, do we have any restriction on that?
I don't think we have a restriction. It's just that if we are using private keys, they should be in encrypted form. They should not be in plain text form. And currently, we don't have a solution. I think unless there's some new development in last 1 year, we didn't have a solution to encrypt the local keys with passcode, which was secure. That was the reason
Yeah.
we don't support it. But I mean, I would just keep it open that in future, if we find a solution, if someone recommends a solution, we are open for collaboration there. But I'm not aware.
So yeah. So which milestone should we put it? Should it remain in discussion, or we can put it into future? Because when we put it in future, that means we decide to implement it.
I mean, we can
Yeah,
just put it
I
in
would
discussion.
suggest.
Uh,
Sorry, I would suggest
go
to
ahead.
put in the future. So, and we can also do continuous planning, right? So in the future, if we have customer asks and we also have a solution that we can prioritize. Otherwise, we can put it in the backlog because this is also a valid ask from users. And also, this is not I mean, we can continuous charge issues when the time comes, so we can also change our decision later on. But for now, I think put it into the future milestone is the best way.
Yeah, Vani, British, and Tolly, what's your input?
Sorry, can you just
Go ahead.
What was-
Sorry, Pritesh, are you gonna?
Sorry. Yeah, I was just asking, can you repeat the question? Can you repeat the question?
Oh, he was asking about our opinion on this. I guess the question here is whether we should prioritize that work or not, right, Shiwei?
So should we put it into the future milestone, or should it be remain in the discussion milestone?
I am I'm with you with kind of storing local keys should not be a recommended practice. And that's why, in my opinion, this can be put in the future if we hear that more customers are asking for that, but we should concentrate on more important work right now.
Yeah, I think we have long list for the upcoming 2 releases, right? So where do you want to put this, right? So it looks like I'm not sure because it depends on the number of resources we have. If we have more resources for development, then definitely we should be able to squeeze this in. But I think you also talked about if it is the local signing key and what's the length of the validity, right? Is it more rotation for it? What's the
Yeah, I think we are over time. I would suggest that we put it in the future. It doesn't mean that we cannot change it, but currently we have other works to prioritize. And also, Shiwei Todi mentioned there are also security concern. So later on, if we have many customers asking about this, we can revisit this issue and prioritize it. But for now, let's put it in the backlog.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then we
So
can
I
put
think
it into that.
in the backlog, right? Previously, I think when I and you were managing the backlog list, we were putting the priority, right? So depending on the number of customers that are asking, that are requesting for this, I think in the backlog, this goes as priority, isn't it?
So currently, I mean, from the issue point of view, there's not either way to add the priority unless we utilize some labels. But we can do continuous planning over time, especially, for example, we can do monthly or when there is a milestone to be released, then we can revisit current issues and also check in the backlogs whether anything we want to prioritize.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, folks, we are 4 minutes over time. So for this issue, I think we will continue mark it as future milestone and see whether any inputs from the customers and potential users. And basically, this is still for local testing scenario. We can provide the workaround on the documentation to unblock users to test with their local private keys. Okay, I will update the milestone and also I will stop my sharing.
Will we have any issue being created, Femin, so we can add what are the foremost considerations for handling a local signing key? Is there any issue that will be created before we update the spec or something for that discussion in the backlog itself? We can just add something and put it in the backlog, right? We need to create an issue, right?
sorry, I don't understand why do we need an additional issue to track the local.
Oh, this is
key
the issue.
signing.
Okay. Sorry
Yeah,
about
we
that.
already have
I'll
it.
update. Yeah, I'll update on that. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah,
No worries.
no problem.
Great.
Yeah.
We finished the discussion of today's agenda. If no more questions, we can end today's meeting. Thank you everyone for joining us. I will stop the live streaming and also end today's meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks
Payman.
everyone.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Fabian,
Thank
for
you.
driving the meeting. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Everyone.